Happy August, everyone. I'm Shay with Curate Soul in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm here to chat with you about our August bhavana. Our energetic or theme for August is inspired by the energy of the elk. And if you're just joining me, what I've done this year is pulled an oracle card from the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal Oracle by Kim Kranz. Absolutely beautiful deck. Here's the cover. And for each month this year, I've pulled a card that has guided me to interweave Ayurvedic and yogic philosophy into my public classes and offerings, as well as working one-on-one with clients, and then into my own personal practice. So I like to share this with you all through my newsletter and through any channel where that we may connect. And so the card that I pulled for August is the elk. You can see that its element is the earth element here at the very top. There's a lot of bright energy around the antlers and what seems to be the sun. And so the qualities or the energetics of the elk are stability, resiliency, headstrong, and the archetype of the father. Again, that element of earth. And so related to the father archetype and the earth together, this is what is creating that masculine earth energy that we'll be working with. Ayurvedically, this is a beautiful element to have this time of year. We are coming towards the end of Pitta season, which are the elements of fire and water. So the qualities right now are very sharp and hot, very mobile as well. And so as we begin to move into Vata season, we're going to still have a lot of mobility, but we'll be moving into the qualities of dry and rough. And so in Ayurveda, we want to balance these energies within ourselves, as well as that which is around us. And so to do that, what we do is bring in opposite qualities. So some of those opposite qualities are exactly what the earth element offers: stability, groundedness, coolness, heaviness. So this stability is a beautiful balance to that mobility quality of Pitta season, of fire season. The cooling aspect of the earth element is a great balance to the hot aspect of Pitta. Soft earth is the balance to the very sharp qualities of Pitta. And so we'll keep coming back to this earth element throughout the month and using this to ground and to balance and to help us transition into Vata season. So again, those qualities of the elk are stable, resilient, headstrong, and the archetype of the father. So when we bring this into some Ayurvedic as well as yogic philosophy, I just kind of spoke to the Ayurvedic side of it. The yogic philosophy, the themes I'm leaning into this month are Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 2.46, sthira, sukha, asanam. And this translates to the asana, or the shape or the pose, is steady and full of ease, or stable and full of sweetness. And so we create this. He's speaking specifically to yoga asana, more specifically to your seated meditation position. So in this position for meditation, the body should feel stable and supported, as well as at ease or sweet. So there's this beautiful balance within the body that then translates to the mind becoming steady and easeful, as well as the breath. The breath is also steady. But we can also look at this in a yoga asana practice. So if you're practicing with me in a public class or we're working together one-on-one, what we're doing is bringing in steadiness to the physical body so that we can then translate that steadiness into our breath flow, as well as the mind, the movement of the mind. You may hear my dog there. Give him just a minute. So, sthira, sukha, asana. The posture is steady and full of ease. So we want to remember this throughout this month, especially in this time of transition and mobility. not just the season that's changing, but August often brings a lot of change with it, especially if we are someone who has children that are going back to school, or maybe we teach school, and so we're starting back into that position. And so just remembering to ground ourselves even in this moment of change, even in this time of transition and moving maybe into a different schedule or a different way of showing up. We also want to remember it not just in our physical practice and our daily life, but also in our spiritual practice or inspirational practice. There will be times that we are transitioning in our practice, whatever that practice may be, times that change is called for. And sometimes when things are changing, it can feel a little challenging to feel supported or stable. And so I encourage you during these moments to maybe tap back into that earth energy, feeling the ground beneath you. The physical earth often helps, but also just remembering how the earth supports you in other ways. We can overlook where our food comes from because we're so used to just going to our local grocery and pulling it off of a shelf. We forget that it has grown in the earth, that other hands have tended to it and nurtured it and then packaged it and then brought it to that store shelf for us. So the earth provides, just like it provides for the elk, it's providing for us as well. The sunlight, the rain, the moonlight, the oxygen that we are breathing, all of that is provided by the earth. So remembering that the earth is always there to support us, especially in times of transition and change when things may feel a little shifty. So just recalling that. Also, we can relate this aspect of the elk to one of the yamas. Now, the yamas is a reflection of our true nature. So we have the yamas and niyamas in the eightfold path of Ashtanga Yoga. And so satya, sat is the root word for that means truth. And so satya is the yama that means truth or essence. And this is truthful in one's thoughts, speech, and action, acting in ways that uphold our values as well as consistent with the reality around us. And so we have to have this feeling of stability and the feeling of support and resiliency to kind of lean into the truth of our values, the truth of who we are, the truth of how we're showing up, the truth of bringing awareness to our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Are they in alignment with our values? Or are we spending more time misdirecting our energy because we're not living in our truth? We're trying to package ourselves or protect ourselves, or we're choosing safety so that we continue to be a part of a particular group. And we're part of many, many different groups, whether it's an age group, a culture, a belief system, whatever that may be. And then sometimes those beliefs in the groups that we are a part of can conflict. And then that just brings a little bit of tension with our inner values. And so we have to kind of step back and take more of a witness approach and to really realize what is our truth, but not just an opinion or a prejudice. What is our truth in relation to the reality around us, in relation to the world around us, and upholding that truth. And if we're ever in question about what that truth may be, we're always told that we should lean back into the first yama of ahimsa, which means non-harming or non-violence. And so just remembering that that's kind of the pinnacle of the yamas. So non-harming, non-violence. And then what about our truth, the actions, the words, the thoughts, helps us support that, supports those values of our truth as well as ahimsa. So maybe this month we just take some time to step back and reflect, to take a look at how we're directing our energy, and maybe how our thoughts, words, and actions are aligning or not aligning with our truth. When we begin to live from our truth, we do feel more stable and resilient. We know what our truth is. We know what we're anchored into. And when we have that anchor to guide us, to lead us, to create that foundation for us, we do more often speak, think, and act from this place that is in alignment with our values. So coming back again to that earth element, that masculine energy. So just being able to live in integrity with those values and that truth, discerning again truth from what maybe are the prejudices that we hold. And we might not always realize that it's a prejudice that we hold. We really have to kind of step back and look, and especially in those groups that we are a part of, what are the unspoken values of that group? And are they really the reality of the world around us and of the larger collective? Is it an opinion that we're holding? And is that opinion the truth of reality? Is it in alignment with the truth of reality? And again, remembering ahimsa if we are unsure of any of that. So here's a good question for you. Is my yes coming from a dark corner or from the light in my heart? This is something really good to remember if you're not sure. Is my yes coming from a dark corner or from the light in my heart? That was a beautiful quote from Catherine Larson, who offered quotes in the Yamas and Niyamas book by Adele, and the last name is slipping my mind. I'll put that in the comments for you all. And then, so I'm going to close out today just offering a few self-inquiry questions for you and a little practice. So the practice this month that I am using in my public classes to begin and end class, which I'd like to share with you that you can use at any point when you are in need of more stability, more grounding. It's called Bhu Mudra, BHU, and it is the mudra for the earth element and calling in the stability and the qualities of the earth. So this support. So if you like, you can go ahead and come to a seated position, or you can just listen to how this can be practiced, and you can practice it on your own time. So go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. You can sit directly on the earth. You can sit on a blanket or a block. If it's comfortable, allow the eyes to close, or you can just gaze softly towards the tip of your nose. Your hands can initially rest on the legs or in your lap, and take a moment and feel all the points of connection between your body and the earth. So the sit bones, the thighs, sides of the legs and the feet. And as you inhale, sense that the spine is growing taller. As you exhale, sense that these points of connection with the earth are growing roots down into the earth. Just anchoring your physical body to the support of the earth. Beautiful. Inhale, feel the spine grow tall once again. Exhale, feel yourself rooting into the earth. This time, as you inhale, sense that the earth is actually rising up to hold and support you. And then from here, we're going to bring our index and middle fingers together. So it's like a peace sign, except the fingers are together. Our thumbs are resting on the tip of the ring finger. And then we're going to bring the fingertips to the earth out beside of us. And if you step outside of your body and just see yourself sitting here, you can see that we're creating this triangle shape, similar to the alchemical symbol of the earth. So as you inhale, sense that you're drawing energy from the earth up the length of the spine to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, send that energy down the length of your arms back into the earth beneath you. Inhale, drawing that energy up from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then down the length of the arms, back into the earth on the exhale. And just continue that for a few more rounds. Following that flow of energy. Receiving energy from the earth and then offering it back into the earth. And you can sit in Bu Mudra as long as you like. And when you are ready, gently releasing the hands back to the thighs or to your lap. Maybe you notice the rhythm of the breath. Maybe it feels a little more steady and even than when you first started. Maybe the mind feels a bit calmer. The thoughts aren't moving quite as rapidly. And gently blinking open the eyes, coming back to the present moment. This month, I encourage you to continue to come back to that Bu Mudra, that practice that, especially in times where you feel like you need a little extra support. Coming to that practice just for 3 to 5 minutes, longer if you have time, to establish that connection to the earth beneath you, to remember that she is always there supporting you, always has been there. And that there is this place within you, always supporting you, supporting your truth, supporting that inner light. Beautiful. And bringing hands to heart center. Thank you all so much for joining. It's an honor to be here. The light in me sees and honors the divine light in each of you, the same light that lights the universe. I hope you enjoy your August.